All right, Michael McDowell, NAN Research, reporting live from the great state of Texas. That's 2,000 miles away from GTC 2026, where Jensen and Huang just casually announced that the data center is now an AI factory. That's right, boys and girls. Mike Rowe has been telling us tech workers that we would soon be factory workers, and apparently he was right. Tokens are the new oil, and networking, it's the only thing keeping the whole rig from catching fire. Now, to be honest with you guys, because, that's the kind of guy I am, I really wanted to share this video with you 2 days ago, but I ran into a little problem. I was expecting to talk about the latest announcements around InfiniBand and Ethernet, but something bigger is happening here. And to be honest, it's taken me just a few days to pull it all together for you. So NVIDIA is basically forcing us to rethink networking. In the realm of AI, we have to look at networking holistically, GPU to GPU and everything in between. We can't look at networking as just two computers talking to one another. We have to look at it as two computers becoming one, a mind meld, if you will. NVIDIA is just making it so hard for us to separate networking from compute and memory. You network engineers, you better skill up. So let's try and sort a bit of this out. If you blinked, you might have missed the parts where NVIDIA essentially became a full stack infrastructure company. They aren't just selling, parts anymore. They're selling the entire engine. We don't have 2.5 hours that Jensen had to explain all of this. So let's just take a minute for a high level history lesson. Then we'll jump into the infrastructure announcements, coming out of the GTC conference. So 10 years ago, NVIDIA crammed 8 GPUs into a single chassis and introduced NVLink to connect them all together. Now, keep in mind, this was all inner chassis. That was fine for a while. But then somebody said, of course, we need more power. Okay, says NVIDIA. So they introduced NVLink 2, which acted like a high-speed switchboard to let 16 GPUs talk as one, so they doubled it. This is supercomputing, folks, and we were in the good times for a day or two. Then somebody said, hey, we need an entire data center to function as one single big supercomputer. Now, back in 2020, that was a tough ask of NVLink. It just wasn't that social, So NVIDIA went out and they acquired Mellanox, and they leveraged their InfiniBand technology to pull all this together, right? They introduced a Quantum 2 switch to do it, and it worked really well. So together, NVLink for scale up and Quantum 2 for scale out, we had an AI connectivity solution that seemed to satiate connectivity demands of whatever GPU configuration we could cram into a warehouse. Okay, so at this point, you might be thinking, hey, what about Ethernet? That's our buddy. We grew up with Ethernet, right? Well, as luck would have it, Mellanox had an Ethernet product line called Spectrum. And in 2023, NVIDIA released AI optimized Spectrum to the masses. Okay, everyone have it. InfiniBand and Ethernet, they kind of seem like competing technologies, and in some instances they are. So let's not dig too deep into that. We'll say that for another day. For now, let's just go with NVIDIA's guidance of using InfiniBand for training and Spectrum X Ethernet for inference. Okay, so this should have caught you up to this week's announcements. So what was the big announcement, the big news? Well, NVIDIA announced their Vera Rubin platform. It basically consists of stuff we're not going to talk about today, like compute trays and STX servers, but it also has some big connectivity components that us infrastructure guys are definitely interested in. So we've officially entered the Vera Rubin era. Make no mistake about it. And here's the reality. GPUs aren't the bottleneck anymore. The real choke point is how fast those chips can gossip with each other. Gossip needs speed to move fast. We all know that, or it falls apart. Vera Rubin turns AI inference into a latency game. And that is forcing the network fabric to evolve. Big word, right? So let's talk about this evolution. NVIDIA doesn't have a 2-network strategy anymore. It has a 3-layer interconnect stack It's starting to get complicated. NVLink inside the rack, InfiniBand for training, and Spectrum-X Ethernet for AI data centers. Each one maps to a different part of the AI factory. NVLink 6, this is your scale-up king, right? Inside a single Vera Rubin rack, it provides mind-bending 260 terabits of total bandwidth. It treats 72 GPUs like they're one giant angry super chip. Angry in a good way. Then you have Spectrum 6 Ethernet. This is where it gets really spicy. They took Ethernet, the protocol that's been duct taped together for 40 years, and gave it a massive upgrade. We're talking Spectrum 6 SPX switches with co-packaged optics CPO. They are literally baking lasers directly onto the switch silicon. That kills power-hungry transceivers and gives us a huge boost in efficiency. Lasers, folks. How cool is that? Okay, so let's look at the silicon that actually moves the bits along. The ConnectX 9 SuperNICs. These are the new GPU translators. They handle the ROCE and manage the chaos so the CPU doesn't cry. By the way, ROCE, that's pronounced Rocky because networking needs more mascots. Just saying. Then you have Bluefield 4 STX. This is a big one. It powers the new CMX platform, which is context memory. It offloads the KV cache. So basically it's the short-term memory, right, of the AI. So it doesn't have to travel across the whole factory every time AI needs to remember what it just said. Really cool efficiency gains here with this one. I wish I was a AI guy and we could talk more about that, but let's focus back on the networking stuff. Together, the NIC, DPU, and the switch give you a rack that behaves like one giant system instead of a collection of servers held together by hope and, as we say in Texas, baling wire, right? Let's leave that for the hayfield. The theme this year is scale across. In the keynote, Jensen showed Spectrum XGS stitching clusters together across different regions. It's a global AI nervous system where your model's context can live in 3 different buildings if you want it to. And your inference job, well, it doesn't care which one it's in. It's the cloud, but optimized for reasoning instead of streaming cat videos. Don't do cat videos. As a sophisticated society, we're better than that. Yeah? Okay, NVIDIA didn't just update its product stack this year either. It basically redrew the blueprint for how AI infrastructure gets built. So after watching the announcements, here are the 4 takeaways that actually matter from an operator and practitioner point of view. Number 1, networking is the multiplier. The biggest performance gains aren't coming from raw teraflops anymore. They're coming from the fabric. The faster your GPUs can talk, the more useful they become. You have to pull your weight around here, folks. Number 2, vertical integration is total. From the Vera CPU to the NICs, to the DPUs, the switches, the optics, the software, NVIDIA now owns the entire data path. This is beyond just components. It's a full stack infrastructure play. 3, Ethernet is being dragged into the future. Spectrum 6 shows that Ethernet can be deterministic, but only when it's heavily accelerated and tightly integrated. This is what NVIDIA is doing. So this is basically Ethernet with a personal trainer and a strict diet plan, something I could definitely learn from. And number 4, inference is the new battleground. With Grok 3 LPUs and CMX memory entering the picture, the center of gravity is shifting. Can you feel it? The question has shifted from how fast can we train to how fast can we serve, respond, and reason. These are the factors driving the success of agentic AI, and Grok is solving the token latency problem. It's the speed reader of the factory. So that's the story from the trenches. NVIDIA is building the global AI fabric, and if you aren't thinking about networking, you aren't thinking about the future. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go check out another virtual booth. My webcam has seen more of me today than any human should, and frankly, we both need a break.